Hey guys, I'm here with Kim and JR.
Hi everyone.
I mean, Kim and JR. So a lot of you guys know them. We had a podcast a while back, but now things changed. So I'm really excited to have you guys back. And 2019 is over, and I want to start it off by talking about 2020. What's going to be new in 2020? What's your plan? And we'll start with Kim, and then we'll go to JR.
A lot of new things for 2020. The first thing is, on a personal level, my family and I have coined this the year of the plane, not the year of the rat.
What does that mean?
That means that we plan to travel. I plan to travel extensively this year, at the same time doubling my income. So that's the personal plan and goal this year. Professionally, JR and I are right now talking about expanding our team, taking on a few mentees, possibly opening an office in the Southwest LA area, and just doubling up on what we did last year in 2019. Right now, that's what we're looking for 2020.
So you mentioned something, and just in case any loan officer out there, mortgage girl, mortgage guy, you guys are interested in joining their powerful team, $1 million earners, hit them up, send them a DM, and they're looking for quality people. And one question, Kim, like, how are you gonna make more money, close more loans, and travel more? Like, how do you do that?
One of the biggest breakthroughs I had last year, actually in the last couple of years, was working efficiently using technology, right? So between how much exposure we've gained, how many more clients we've gained through social media, we've also set ourselves up powerfully where technology pretty much takes care of our entire pipeline, our loans, our clients. We've trained our clients to be able to respond by email, by fax. So we literally don't have to meet with anybody face to face. Now we will if a client absolutely wants to, but that was one of the biggest breakthroughs I had, was like, okay, I can work anywhere at any time in any country, city, state, and my business won't stop. And that was one of the big expansions that we experienced last year. And so my commitment now is to do exactly the same with a smartphone and a little laptop or a Surface or iBook or whatever it is you use. You can communicate with anybody, right? So via Zoom, JR is doing all of our handles all of our trainings online with potential clients who want to become investors. There's no time to wait for can we meet in person. We go on a Zoom, go on Skype, meet them face to face, never met them before, and we create the same rapport that we would have had we driven 50 miles to get there and see them face to face.
I mean, that's a great point, and maybe you could add to this, JR, about meeting them FaceTime or Skype, because if you're closing 20, 30 deals a month, and you're going to 30 appointments, it's
there's not enough hours.
Too time consuming, especially with traffic.
Absolutely.
Now, if you do it FaceTime, it's the same thing. You just have to kind of get used to it. I don't know. It's like, it's weird. I have some weird comparisons, but what do you think of that?
You know, the old myth is that you can't take care of your clients unless you're meeting them face to face, right? And
I like touching. Like I can't touch the client over the video. That's the only thing. Like I FaceTime still. When I go on my mentorships and masterminds to a different country, but I can't like touch her, you know, like that's the only thing that kind of like I don't know, technology is cool, but I like touching.
well, we have something in common because I like to be touched. So as far as touching someone, like, look, I'll give you an example. We meet face to face with clients maybe once every 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just because a realtor will call us and say, hey, I have this client that wants to meet, right? Can you schedule the appointment? So I call the client, and the first thing I ask is, okay, we can do it one of three ways. We can meet in person, or I can email a list of items to send me, and you can send it to me. We'll coordinate that way. And 9 out of 9 to 10 times they say, you know what? Let me just send you what I have. Because right now in this day and age with technology, people are go, right? And one thing about meeting people in person, which I'm not opposed to, but the time it takes you to get to an appointment in traffic, it's about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour sometimes, right? And then you're there for an hour and a half, and then you have another hour, an hour and a half. That's like 3 to 4 hours right there. And in 3 to 4 hours, I can do about 10 prequels.
Yeah. What about like you guys meeting face to face, but sending somebody that's in your team to go meet them face to face? Like, so you do it over the phone FaceTime, but you have a team member meeting face to face. Do you think that would be better or no?
I mean, personally, I think like I don't think so, because it's not so much that the client needs to be face to face. It's more they just really want to know, who are you? Am I actually speaking to like a real person? Am I going to give all my information to somebody I have no idea who they are? When you connect with them visually, if they need that, right, then they're satisfied. You know, it's like we're extremely transparent. There's nothing to hide. So for a client, JR is absolutely right. When I ask the client, do you want to meet? And then they're like, can I just email it to you? I was like, absolutely. And that's their first reaction is like, oh my God, yes, like let's email it, right? So it's not just us working to be efficient. I think everybody, with the amount everybody has going on in their lives right now, people want to be efficient, you know, so the face-to-face meeting isn't the same thing that was required as it is in the past. Society's trained for technology, right? Like they're just trained for technology.
Yeah, because I grew up. I started in the business, and I grew up in the business thinking that I had a mentor, and he told me you have to meet everybody face to face, face to face, face to face, face to face. So I see a lot of people that are face to face that are like going out of business because it's not very efficient, and then technology is just taking over. And so
Let me give you an example, and this happens more than you think. Speak to a client on a Monday.
yeah,
When can you meet? Saturday, because I'm off Saturday. I got my kids, I got work, I can't manage till Saturday.
yeah.
I said, okay, we can meet Saturday, or if I send you a list, you have access to a phone, you can just take photos of your documentation and text them to me. I convert them over to PDF on my phone, right? Like, I can do that. They will send me that information, let's just say on a Tuesday. By Wednesday, they're pre-qualified, and guess what they're doing on Saturday?
Looking for help?
They're looking for houses, as opposed to waiting and wasting another week. Because there's a property out there that's right for them, and they're gonna miss out on that opportunity.
Yeah.
That is the world we live in, and that's how, like, we're looking at really expanding ourselves. Like Kim says, travel more, spend more time with the family, but create the business and really explode it. How? Building teams and teamwork around our business, and being able to be from anywhere in the world and function and work. Like last year we were in Europe, right? Mm-hmm. She was in Europe, I was here, and vice versa, and we were in communication, and it flowed.
And our clients, I was gone for 2 weeks, and my clients had no idea I was gone.
Speaking about that, Kim, I asked you behind cameras, but if you could let everybody know about this. I was wondering, can you become $1 million earner just by yourself? And you gave me a good answer. Like, let's say if JR wouldn't be here, can you make $1 million yourself, or can JR make $1 million himself without you? And because I know this year is the year that you guys are going to mentor and create wealth for other people.
Yes, so can we? Absolutely we can. Do we choose to? Absolutely not. Me personally, having a team, having created a team is everything. I have zero interest in not having a life. You know what I mean? My commitment to my clients, my commitment to our clients is higher than it's ever been. It's always been high, but through the things we've learned last year, it's even higher. And inside of that, my commitment to my family is even higher than that, right? And so I don't want to not see my children. I don't not want to be there when something big happens, right? Even though I have adult children, big things happen in adult children's lives too. So when the kids were growing up, had I not, JR and I not partnered up, my kids wouldn't even know who I am, because that's how many hours I was working. Now I have the opportunity to have a life, spend time with my family, travel, make a difference for hundreds of lives, and still be $1 million earner. And for me, that's everything.
Well, let me ask you a question. Can you have it all?
Yeah,
Do you have it all?
that's right.
See? That's what we're stepping into. Like, you can have it all. You can have balance and make it right, make it wrong.
Yeah, I have a similar story, because when I started making money in the real estate and mortgage business, I would wake up at 4 a.m. and I would just work on things that are morning things, like outbound stuff, and then work. And then 9 a.m. everybody gets into the office processing. Now I have to submit my conditions and all of that. And then 6 p.m. I got to keep working, because now I have to submit new loans, get them ready. So me, Sil, we're working all the way through till like 11 p.m., sometimes midnight, wake up and do it all over again. And it was just work. And we were making over $1 million. But it was like nonstop work. And sometimes we wanted to have like a drink or something or go out for dinner, and we couldn't. So we would order food, make our drink like at home, and drink as we packaged the loan and turn it in. When if you have a team, everybody has like their roles, and everybody's taking care of their roles, and you do more in less time. Agreed.
Kim, how often, I'm going to go back about 9 years. How often will you be getting emails at 1 o'clock in the morning from me?
All the time.
Work emails.
Yeah.
I'm working at 1 o'clock in the morning, setting myself up for the next day. And I get up at 6:30 in the morning because I got to get up, get my kids to school. And so as soon as my kids are off at school at 7:30, I'm back on the computer by 7:45, 8 o'clock. And guess what? It was a never-ending cycle like what you were experiencing, right? But that was not using technology to the fullest like we are now. Now I'm like, because I get up early now, super early. I'm taking on your philosophy of getting up like at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, we see you sprinting over there.
Yeah, back there, right?
Nice, yeah.
But I'm telling you something, I'm in bed by around 9:30, 10 o'clock. Old man.
That's if you don't go to the cigar lounge.
That's if I don't go to the cigar lounge. But on a good weeknight, because I'm like, I realize that, and I'm also getting, your health is important. So you got to make sure you get your rest. And that's something that I was forsaking, right? Like Kim says, you're forsaking family time, you're forsaking your health, you're forsaking something. Can you earn $1 million by yourself? Yes, you can. But you're going to have no life whatsoever.
I'm like, why? Today, like, why?
Is that
Do
kind
it
of
by yourself?
Is that how you guys did it? Because you guys are first place this month in the company, like all across the board, and you guys took like a week and a half off and went to Puerto Rico, and I was just like so jealous watching you guys in Puerto Rico, and like, is that how you did it? You have a
Well,
team?
yeah, we're super. Well, first of all, it's not just technology. It's like also being trained in creating teams and teamwork, right? Like everything is a system. Speaking to what you do is like you measure a lot of metrics. Metrics, paying attention to what works and doesn't work. Your systems, super important, and then also having alignment from your team, right? Like you have to know what your team wants, and you have to be the same thing for your team that your team is for you. And so for us, we going to Puerto Rico for the two of us to be gone at the same time, we haven't done that in quite a long time. And, originated a loan on January 3rd that funded this morning. So originated the loan when we were in Puerto Rico, worked the loan when I was in Puerto Rico, and funded the loan today. Came back and the loan's closed. And, for me personally, I do work when I'm on vacation, so I'm just that's going to be my.
But it's a lot
disclaimer.
nicer. It's a lot nicer to work with some scotch or a champagne in front of the beach and talking to your clients.
Absolutely. And being able to not have, I personally love to travel with at least a 4-hour time difference. Wherever we're going, I like it to be at least 3 to 4 hours ahead of where we're at. When you're in Europe, it's 12 hours ahead. It's the perfect dynamic to being able to work and be gone with no impact on your vacation and no impact on the people, your clients back at home. And your clients, they know our commitment. They know our commitment. They know that it doesn't matter where we're at, that loan's going to be taken care of regardless. That real estate sale is going to be taken care of regardless. That transaction's going to be taken regardless, because that's who we are for our clients. We're extremely serious about what we do. And at the same time, we're equally as committed to our families.
But my kids growing up in this environment I don't want to say would complain, but we'd go on vacation, right? And they would make a gesture here and there. Where's Dad? They're in the pool. Dad is literally at the bar with his laptop working. And again, Dad's working. So I had a conversation with them. I said, look, you can look at it both ways. It's a blessing and it's a detriment to be able to work from anywhere, because you really don't take the time off. But you can pick up and go and say, you know what? You want to go to Palm Springs this weekend? Let's go. I'll just take my laptop. So you're always mobile. You're always connected. So you have to be careful to make sure you balance your life out. Like you said, you got to be able to travel. When you travel, we work a lot of hours.
A lot.
We work a lot. Literally, we're working. We wake up working. We go fall asleep working with our phone.
I don't want anybody out there listening to this to think that being $1 million earner is easy. No, it's not difficult. But it's not easy. It takes a lot of self-discipline. It takes an extraordinary...
Is it simple?
It's easier than most people think. It's more simple than most people think. It's not complicated, that's for sure. Actually, the only one ingredient that you can't buy inside of this is your work ethic. Really, like, you either want it or you don't. I remember when I was 22 years old, I was reading a book and it was talking about then comparing millionaires. Now a millionaire is everybody a millionaire, right? Now you want to be a billionaire. Now the millionaire is no big deal.
Yeah.
But back then they were talking about habits of millionaires. And they said, look at read the life habits. They're all up. If they're not up by 5 o'clock, you're considered lazy, right? They have an entire agenda. They have a schedule. They have a team of people who hold their schedule accountable. They have structure, right? So it's not just this one person. It can be one talented individual, but it's the team that gets them there. And so when I say it's not difficult, it's not difficult. What it takes is self-confidence. It takes somebody to believe in you, right? And it takes you believing in yourself, utmost. And inside of that, you can create a life where you're earning $1 million, whether it's what we do or be it something else, like all the people you meet, when you're coaching them.
Now, what can licensed mortgage originators get from you guys, or look forward to getting, and if they join your team, like what do you guys mentor them on, or can you? Because I know Emilio is part of your team, and he's created some great results.
Well, what I would tell you is that there's nothing we haven't seen. There's nothing we haven't seen. See, here's the thing with experience: you have to actually do a certain amount of transactions to get experience. The caveat to that is that most people want you to have experience to give you those transactions, right? So somewhere in between, it's going to take a little bit of bullshit, right? And it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's going to take a lot of self-confidence. And inside of there, then you can create opportunity. And that's all it is creating opportunity. How many conversations do I need to have today to yield the results that we're committed to getting? Literally, that's like, in the most simplest form, that's the recipe. That's how it shows up. So what we could mentor somebody in, first and foremost, is that get out of your own way. Like literally get out of your own way and listen. And I would let JR elaborate on that, but for me, that's what I think.
Well, it's pretty similar. We've been trained and developing the same distinctions.
Like you were a big part of coaching me when I joined the previous company. Like I remember that, like both of you guys, but since we're talking about this with Kim also, like how he's a man and I'm a man. I kind of was like, oh, JR's like he's a man, like and I see him. We both like the Lakers and all that stuff, and so I kind of related more to you because you were a man, and you took me under your wing, and a lot of love that Kim gave me too. But you know what I mean, right? Kind of like man to man thing.
Oh, I get it. And the difference, okay, here's where you showed up was that you were in a place where you were committed to success. That was you from day one. And there was no stopping you, right? He was like a sponge. That's first and foremost, you were a sponge. So the way you discuss, like, don't waste my time. If I'm giving you my time, I'm gonna make sure I allocate it, right, in the right places. Well, for someone like you who was a sponge and say like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And you would run with it. Anything we gave you, you would run with it and you would implement. That's what was important. That's what we're looking for when we say we're going to mentor people. Now, as far as like being, like Kim was saying, $1 million earner or more, it's not difficult. Where it's difficult is that people think that they can't achieve that. Whatever's in their space, right? You either make a choice or you don't, and you eliminate whatever's there for you. Like, for example, what drove me has been driving me. That was a plug.
Has been driven me.
That's a driven plug.
You have to say it at least 50 times.
He made us.
Do I get paid every time I say it?
Driven. So driven.
So what drives me, has driven me, is my past, is coming from nothing, and being in a place where I'm like, I don't want to live that life anymore, and I don't want my kids to experience that, And I made a choice at one point that I was going to succeed and do something. The previous company I was at a corporation, right, Kim? And I moved up, and I decided I hit the ceiling, and what was next for me, and that's when I decided to go work for myself. That's when I already knew Kim, but that's when Kim offered me the opportunity to come work for her.
He knocked at my sister, so it was like a sure thing.
I knocked at the sister. But for me, that individuals think that they can't do it themselves. The wanting to be responsible for your success. That's what the lack of people, because people see it as an out there conversation, and they can do it, but I can't do that. And once you eliminate that, that's the first thing that's going to keep you from being successful.
We literally had somebody today on Instagram, a new hater. We're getting up there.
You guys are getting
We're getting up there. 2 haters in a week.
So now you believe me on that.
2 haters.
Because I remember you told me, no, we don't have haters. And
everybody loves us.
And also I had another guy that's top in the company, and they were telling me like we don't have haters, and then they told me, oh, we got a hater now. It must be a good sign that we're becoming more successful.
Well, we got our second one.
We talk about this hater.
But here's the beautiful part about it, and this is really speaking to like a lot of people don't know that. I mean, people assume who they think I am, right? Yeah. But I was a single mom my whole life. 3 children, raised them 100% on my own. Super proud of them, and it takes something to do that, right? And everything that JR and I have succeeded, just like you and Sylvia, like exact same. And no, we're not married. Let me just say that. Everybody asked that question. JR is my brother-in-law, just to clarify. But
A lot of people at the boot camp were like, "Damn, that power couple."
I know everybody. They said your husband, and I was like, my husband.
We're a couple, a business couple.
Yeah.
Exactly. But having said that, we inside of how our commitment to our business, right? So, and in terms of growing it, it's we share the same work ethic. We share the same drive. We share the same commitment. We share the same vision. We've had, I swear to God, maybe 2 bumps in between us personally that were like literally in 20 minutes we're cleared up.
What's the longest guy? Oh, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
So you guys have never been gone a day without talking to each other.
And we've been together 16 years.
16 years.
Well, working together 16
Yes.
years. That's how rumors get started.
That's how rumors get started.
Still sent me to the couch a couple times.
but we in that commitment, when you're doing this for a living and you're not going to do something else. See, one of the things I think is the biggest problems, especially for people who come into this business, it is not easy. Don't anybody tells you, you see those signs, earn $100,000 a year. You absolutely can your first year, but it is not easy. It takes a lot of commitment, a lot of conversation, a lot of getting out of your way, willing to be coached. Being coachable, I think, is the number one thing. I personally will not take on somebody and mentor them if they're not coachable. There's no way. That's way too much resistance.
So that's important.
Oh, it's 100. It's a requisite.
So if you're coachable, is it easy?
It becomes a lot easier. Because
if you're not coachable, we're not spending time with you.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. We're done.
I was very coachable coming up in this business because I had it that the people I saw doing what I was doing before JR and I became partners in terms of numbers, I knew that there was no intellectual superiority, right? They weren't smarter than me. They didn't work any harder than I did. I just had to pay attention. And so nose down, looking forward, you can't have your nose down and look forward, can you? Eyes ahead, looking forward, paying attention. And I mimicked, and then I was just like, that works for me, that doesn't work for me. But my personal integrity is where it was different. Whereas I was just like, I'm not about screwing somebody. We're very responsible about our clients. We're very responsible, but this is the most money they're ever going to spend in their life. So when I was looking for a partner, that partner had to have the same exact values. And it just happened to be that the man I allowed to marry my sister was that guy. I was like, my sister had to ask me first before she asked my dad. But that's having an aligned way of thinking, having the same core values. You and Sil have the same core values. Mm-hmm. Without those, it doesn't matter. So somebody who has different core values probably not going to be a fit for us. But somebody who does has a lot of possibility.
Now, do you also mentor clients? Like when clients want to refinance or buy a house, do you mentor them? Do you give them advice? Absolutely. Because talk about Emilio. You coached him, you mentored him. He's your son. And he bought a property, sold it, made a lot of money, and then bought a better property, which has equity, right? How did that work out?
So just like we coach our mentors, JR is always available to do Zooms. We both are, and but he's really great at it and really just explaining very simply how you can take very little money, if no money at all. And so we applied the same strategy with Emilio. He bought his first condominium 3.5 years ago in Norwalk, California.
How much did he come in with, Kim?
$1,500.
That's it.
He came in with $1,500. And
can you still do that or not?
Absolutely, you can still do it. And my twins, the twins will be graduating from college in 1.5 years, and that's already the plan. As soon as they graduate from college,
and the twins are her daughters.
Are my daughters. And so with Emilio, he knew from day one. Emilio was raised in a bassinet inside a real estate office. Emilio he thought everybody was a broker when he was 6 years old. He just thought, every mom's a broker, right? And so he was raised in this industry, and as soon as we were able to get him set up on his income, had him buy a house, used down payment assistance, came in with $1,500, 3.5 years later, net out $112,000 on a $1,500 investment, and now he and his beautiful fiance Cassandra have just bought a gorgeous home, completely remodeled in Lakewood, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. So he started small. He had a vision. He had a commitment. He's like, this is where I'm going to start. And our real goal was to rent that condo out because he didn't need he didn't need the down payment to buy the house. But having listened to Barbie Castro at Driven, and actually this was the big one. In fact, when we were at Driven in September, I texted Emilio when Bobby was up there, and I said, Pops, I'm listening to this guy right now, and he is saying if you have a condo, sell it because they're hitting the top. Immediately we ran the comps and we saw there were no sales that had happened except one. And I said, Bobby, you're at the top of the market. Let's sell it now on a condo. He sold, and because his unit was so small, so you have to be a very specific buyer to have bought that unit. I knew we were not going to squeeze one more dime out of this property.
Yeah.
He took it all out, put it in a beautiful 4-bedroom, 2-bath that they absolutely loved, paid his car off with the proceeds, put the money down. So now he has no debt, has a beautiful home. He and his fiance did the right thing, bought the house before the wedding, and they're set on a $1,500 investment.
And last year was his biggest year income-wise?
6+ figures, yep. Being our assistant. Yeah, so if you're interested in being mentored, just think about that.
Yeah.
Our assistant made some.
So I think the biggest thing about being part of the Kim and JR team is just the mentorship, because you guys have, like, whenever I have a question about loans, I go straight to you guys. I'm like, hey, you guys have a combined how many years of experience?
Well, damn, like 54?
You can do the math.
Yeah, 54 years.
I have 16, so I do the math.
54 years.
54 years of combined experience.
Now let's switch the topic, JR. I know you got your Ferrari last year, and you guys have been hitting the marketing hard. How has marketing changed the way you do business? Because I know in your previous broker you didn't really do a lot of marketing. Tell me how that has happened.
I did no marketing before I joined the mortgage guys. Before you mentored me, so I'm like the sponge in this equation. So the tables have turned, right? Years later, now you're mentoring us, and you're mentoring. I actually personally me when I'm posting on how to post and all that. So if you tell me go post a picture of this and do that, I do it, right? So the marketing and social media, what it has done, it has created an audience. Now, it has being here, and I'm not sure if it's just the mortgage guys. I think it's a combination of being at the mortgage guys, being in this environment, and also the social media branding. But it's tripled our income. It has absolutely tripled our income. It's also set like some sort of tone of who we are, and so our loan amounts have more than doubled.
And that was one of our commitments.
That was actually a game we were playing.
That was a game we were playing.
So that has also expanded, and there's a listing. So here's the listing now. The listing is, we bought the Ferrari, right? And this is because the income has tripled, and it's like, okay, this is the time to buy the Ferrari because it's been a dream. And we use it for social media branding because at the end of the day, we've created wealth through real estate and our business. And having a conversation, there's a listing of us, like, in other words, doing the webinars, the Zoom webinars, what we love to do is really set a plan for clients that think that they cannot create wealth. Individuals, I want to say everyday folks, we're everyday folks, right? But everyday folks that think, oh, the wealth is over there for them, for those, it's not for me. And what we've noticed is that there's a listening. We tell people, this is the plan. This will work for us. Create this for yourself. And when they step into that, we've had people now that are created passive income through real estate.
We have made millionaires. We have actually made millionaires through counseling them, coaching them, and advising them.
Can you talk about one of them?
Yeah, so we have a client. His name is first name is Jordan, and he started with his first fourplex in Inglewood, and amazing guy, and Anglo, right? So buys a fourplex in Inglewood, FHA. He put 5% down. He didn't need to. That was just his choice, and all Hispanic tenants, right? So he lives in one, rents out the other 3, and within 2 years, we refinanced him out of that into a conventional loan, got rid of his mortgage insurance. Because he had enough to put 20% down, so his realtor who was representing him on that purchase told him, no, don't listen to Kim, you want to put 20% down. And I was like, that's absolutely insane. You qualify with 3.5% down, you're single, you have no write-offs, you need the write-off, put 5% down, keep the rest of your money. So he listens to me, doesn't listen to his realtor, and he keeps the other $100,000. We do a cash out refinance, then he ends up buying a condo where he lives in. Long story short, we are now 4 properties later, right? So he is in just net equity worth well over $1 million, and property value about $2.5 million, still has a third of his savings that he started with 8 years ago when we started this, right? And he's amassed about $6,000 a month in free positive income, which is about $2,000 less than he was earning working 80 hours a week.
And also another cool story that I heard her from Cynthia. You guys are pretty close with Cynthia. Cynthia always tells me, and she repeats it over and over, she gives a lot of credit to you guys, and she says that you guys were her mentors, that you guys taught her everything she knows in the business and everything. And then Cynthia's also $1 million, she's a millionaire on paper with all her real estate. So how was it with her when she started to now where she is today? Because you guys were a big part of it.
Before you say anything, she was a sponge. Big time, right, Kim?
So Cynthia is exactly what we're talking about when we want to mentor somebody. See, a lot of people want it, right? A lot of people want to be millionaires. If it was just wanting it, everybody would be a millionaire. Wanting it is the first step, and it's the easiest step.
Yeah.
And then everything from there is no longer easy, because now you have to generate yourself to actually take the actions. One of the things I won't do is I will not spend time with somebody who asks for my advice and doesn't take it. I have zero interest in that, because I'd rather do nothing than spend my time giving advice to somebody who's not going to listen to it. Cynthia was the exact opposite of that. She listened to us about everything. And she was coachable, because she got in her own way quite a few times, right? Quite a few times. But to her credit, she listened. She listened, and I would be like, you're getting in your own way. And today, it's a real, it's like watching your kid, not even lying. I mean, she could actually be my kid, but it's like watching your child, have achieved what you always wanted them to achieve. And it wasn't easy for her, but it wasn't hard. If you ask her, it was not hard. And she just listened and she paid attention. She's like, so when other people are asking me for mentorship, she always says, do whatever they say. Do whatever they say. Just do whatever they say. Yeah. So that's how, we were able to contribute to her.
She actually, this goes to you. She was so broke that she couldn't afford not even a phone charger, and you gave her the charger.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I went
Remember that?
I bought her a charger, and she didn't have a notepad to write anything down. I bought her a notepad, and because I believed in her. She was in a situation where she was so broke, she was 3 car payments behind, and she had an opportunity. She had a job, like she just got an offer, accepted, hired at a job at $13 an hour, right? Back then. And no, you're not gonna take that job. But no, you're not going to take that job. You're going to stick this out. And again, Cynthia, the balls that she had on her, the courage, she stuck it out. And look at her now. She's worth more than $1 million now.
And I don't even remember the name of the gal she was partnering with. And not to be a bitch, but it probably sounds like a bitch, but that's how insignificant that partnership was. I don't even remember this girl's name. But the other girl, Cynthia, says she goes, it's not working out. And I said, then go on your own. You don't need that, right? And she listened, and she was scared, but she went all in. And, honestly, I don't think anybody could have honored us more, right? By listening to us and then becoming who she's become. That is really something. When you have an opportunity to contribute to another human being's life, where they actually listen to the advice that you give them, and then you see them turn themselves out inside of a life that they would have never had before had you not cared about them. And I think for me, that's what, I'm going to be 58 years old in 2 months, right? Something has to, it's not just about the money. It stopped being about the money a long time ago. It's about making a difference. It's about having the opportunity to contribute to another human being's life. It's about it's not just being born with a silver spoon in your mouth. What about those of us who were literally born in East LA, raised by single parents, lost a parent, right? What about those people? We have as much right as anybody else to be wealthy, to be financially free, to have a life that we love. And there's not enough of us who are given that opportunity. So for me, I think the greatest honor is that we get to contribute primarily to a Hispanic community, right? But definitely to all people of color. We have the opportunity to really make a difference for them, where a lot of people just don't give a shit. And for me, that's what drives me today. It's not the money. Yeah, I like it. It provides things, but you only need so much crap. Like, there's only so many things that you need. What helps you go to sleep at night is knowing that there's a family out there that's going to have a life they would have never had before if you wouldn't have cared. That's the juice inside of what we do, especially for me. Like, that's it. Really, that's what motivates me.
That's our goal this year. I mean, we discussed this. So our goal is to really create lives for people that never thought they would be possible for themselves, because we have experience. Like, where generosity step kicks in for us is like, we know how to create wealth. You don't have to do what we do. You can go punch a clock somewhere, but we know how to create wealth and how to leverage. Like, people think, I don't have any money, how am I going to invest? You don't need money. There's ways to get money. Use other people's money, partner up with them. You can create wealth. So for us, it would be pretty crappy for us not to share what we know, because who our parents are, right? Like, this is who we come from, right? Who my mother is, for example, she's still very much the same person that raised me. She's very much the same person that came from Mexico. Yeah. Okay, and everybody that I try to help, I see individuals, I see families, and I go, that's my mother, that's my family. So how is it I'm going to hold this information? The difference is that those that want to create and those that want to do something for themselves, that's where we step in. And that's what we want to do this year. We want to really empower people and help them create like a life that they never thought they can dream of.
And train others to do the same thing that we do. You know what I mean? I'm not doing this for the rest of my life, right? But I definitely like to know, inside of the legacy that we leave behind, that we've trained a whole team of people to do exactly what we've trained ourselves to do, to make a difference for others. That would be a real legacy worth living. Worth leaving for me personally, is that if we could create a whole team of people to do exactly what we do, then what does the world look like now, right? People who never thought they'd ever become millionaires, now they actually have an opportunity to become a millionaire. And $1 million is what we're really talking is about financial freedom. It's not even about the dollar amount. It's like, not, the definition of wealth is working when you don't have to. You know what I mean? And so, like, to be able to leave that to others would be pretty extraordinary for me.
Now, Kim, you're a perfect example of a really successful woman, powerful woman. What message do you have for all the women out there? Because just what you see is men are the only ones that are successful, become billionaires, and a lot of the times women don't get that much credit because of, I don't know, the way society makes it. But in our company, we have a lot of powerful women that have came from nothing from the beginning to now being rock stars, like Cynthia, we got Patty, we got yourself, we got Christina, we got a lot of women. I could go on and on, but what's your thought about that? About women and how powerful they are, and how sometimes, like, what's on the outside kind of maybe women feel like they can be successful, but then you see women like you and like the ones I mentioned. What are your thoughts on that?
My first thought is that successful women have a responsibility to other women to rise them up. First and foremost, I think one of the biggest disparities between men and women is we compete differently. Men compete one way, women compete a different way, right? And inside of that, sometimes we don't stand for each other and support each other the way we really have a responsibility to. And so for me, first and foremost, my call out, my shout out, my request of all the women out there who consider themselves successful in any area of your life, and it doesn't have to be financial. If you think you're an amazing mom, pay it forward. Help somebody else become an amazing mom. If you're an amazing businesswoman, grab a handful of women in their 18s and their teens and their late teens ready to go into college, take them under your wing and make a difference for them. If you're a successful woman inside of a business, make sure that your corporation is giving equal pay. Women earn half of what men do for the same job. That shit doesn't work, and that does not fly, right? And so we have a responsibility to each other, first to lift each other up and really hold the space underneath for the younger women in a generation to be the example. If you're being catty with each other, if you're being nasty with each other, if you're competing against something that's not, there's no competition there, give that shit up. And take somebody under your wing, somebody like we did with Cynthia, right? Take someone under your wing and lift them up and let them see, be the example to them of how extraordinary they can be. One day they're going to be mothers. One day they'll be wives. One day they'll be partners. They'll be CEOs, right? And it's going to be the successful women of today who have who really cause the transformation of women in the future. It starts with women. As mothers, it starts with us, right? And there's that disparity only exists, I would assert, because we allow it. Not like we created it, we didn't welcome it, but when we start competing with each other and not really being paying attention to the real challenges for women out there, then we do a disservice to each other. And so I, for one, am all about mentoring young women. I want to see every woman out there, no matter what their age is, no matter what their ethnicity, no matter what their income range, is to have the same opportunity that the person who grew up in Beverly Hills, right? Or the person who grew up in Bel Air, or the person who grew up on Newport Coast. They have the same right as the person who's growing up right now getting born in South Central LA. And the only difference is the conversations that we're having with those girls when they're girls. The conversations we're having with their mothers who don't know how they're going to eat. Like, what opportunity are we creating for them? That's my responsibility, and it's every other woman's responsibility who's already achieved their goals to do the exact same thing. And it's something I'm extremely passionate about, because I have daughters, and I'll be damned if my daughters don't have the same opportunities. In fact, my job is to create more opportunities for them and make sure that they don't have half the challenges that in their way that I had in my way. And that's like, well, clearly you can tell it's something I'm very passionate about.
I can see it. I can see it. And I have two daughters, and like I didn't always think about women in that way. I always obviously loved my mom, and my mom was my first mentor, took care of me, and I love my mom. And I know that life is not guaranteed. We might not be here tomorrow. We might not be here next week. I really, Kobe was an idol. I really grew up like idolizing him. You remember when we used to talk about basketball back then? And it's just like one day to the next, doesn't matter your age, you could be gone. So what made me think more about women was having a daughter. So I had Italia, she's 3 years old. Now we have another daughter, Berlin, who's almost 3 months. And you have two daughters. What's your opinion on that, or how do you feel about your daughters and being a role model to them?
Oh, well, I'm kind of torn from the standpoint of like you empower women, because I'll tell you why. Because I don't want to distinguish women differently from men. And I get that this is a man's world and it's a dog-eat-dog world, right? But I don't want to put in their space that there's a difference, right? But I also want them to be aware.
Yeah.
Because look at me. I don't care if you're a woman or a man. If, like Cynthia, for example, I'm going to mentor you. I chose Kim and Kim chose me as a partner, right? Doesn't matter if she's a woman or a man. If it was a man's world, I would have chosen a man. But this is who she is. So powerful. I would say she's more powerful than most men I know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? And so for me, when I see Kim, I don't see a woman. I see Kim. That's it. Just a person who is powerful. And that's where I want to stand. Because when you start, for me, like, I don't want to differentiate the two. But I want to empower my girls, because I don't want them to have to deal with, have to pay, want to have to deal with, being, you see it in Hollywood right now, not discrimination, but sexual harassment and all that. That's where I want to draw the line. And I support women because I'm married to a woman. I have 2 girls. My partner's a woman. The most influential, most important person in my life, who's not my wife, my kids, and my partner, is my mom. And I have a sister. And that's my life. I'm surrounded by women. Even my dog is a woman. Right? And my Shih Tzu, Brooklyn, she's a woman. So for me, I am all about empowering women. But I'm gonna empower women in my sense of that I'm gonna help any way I can. And I don't see you as a woman, I see you as a peer.
And something interesting for everybody that's watching, the mortgage guy started as a mortgage guy, and it was just a mortgage guy. Feel weird with my shades, but the mortgage guy, we added an S to make it plural, to make it a team, a company. And now the top performers in the company, this came up when we had a conversation last week. The top performers are women.
Are the mortgage gals?
Yeah, like I was looking at the numbers, especially like this month. I was looking at the closings, and last month, and a little bit over half are women. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I will tell you something. I know we have amazing women in our company. We have extraordinary women in our company. Some are single moms, some are not, right? But as a mother and as a woman, when you do it all on your own, as challenging as that is, it's such great training for business. It really, really is. And ladies who are married out there, I'm not by any means saying there's, don't be married or anything like that. But for all the single moms out there, right? Like if there's a single mom out there who is saying, like, I don't know how I'm going to make more money. They're telling me I have to work here 5 more years before I'm going to increase, go to $21 an hour from the $20 an hour I'm at, or anything like that. I really, really invite you to reach out to us, because we have really created an extraordinary platform for you to not have to be at that glass ceiling, right? Like literally, like, what I love about what I do, like I love that I get to help people. I love that I get to have families. I will tell you, as a single mom, I loved that I could be earning a living and at the same time be at PTA, that I could be at all the theater performances that the twins were in, and still be working. This job, what this industry has allowed us to do, what it's allowed me to do personally, seriously. So, I'm not surprised about the stats in our company. A shout out to all of the amazing women in our company. We have extraordinary men in this company. And, I just want to say, completely unrelated to that wherever you go, you want to find an environment where people hold you up and hold each other up, because the men in this company really, really do have a love for the women in this company. We are a family. And, even when there's bumps in the roads, it's inside of being that family that has us all be committed to each other. And that is something you cannot.
And I love the mutual respect we all have, because there's bumps, like ups and downs. But I, like, for example, last week, you told me, Albert, I need to talk with you and we need to have a conversation to clear something out. Can we talk after the podcast? And I told you, sister, let's talk right now. Yeah. Let's get on the phone call in an hour and let's just fix it. And
that's such people think that, I don't know if you don't have that where you work. I'm sad. Give us a call. Give the mortgage guys a call, because we have that. Like, we have that space to be able to have conversations. We're not striving for perfection, right? What we are is we are a commitment. We're a commitment to each other's greatness. And seriously, you can't buy that. You can't buy that. Today, this morning, we've got fundings on the board, and John's, go Kim and JR, and I love that man. Like, I love the love that he gives, that Eli and Mike give, that all the guys and everybody, right? Just like all the women in this company. So we definitely have something very unique here that I only see getting better as time goes on. I really, really do. I only see it growing.
And you touched something really important for everybody that's listening about mortgage. I want you to add to it, Kim, because you said it. You say it best. How fortunate we are to be in the mortgage industry, because you could make $1 million that easy, and help your family, like give your wife, your kids the life that their dream life, and you have the flexibility and the freedom to be like, I'm going to be doing this interview to help people. I'm going to go on to Puerto Rico. I'm going to not miss my kids. Italia, we just signed her up for valet classes.
Right.
And so now Albert's going to be taking a break at 10 a.m. to go see her in her valet classes. But I have that freedom that I created for myself, just like you guys created for yourselves. And just like Cynthia, Patty, everybody that's in the loan business has an opportunity to make $1 million and have their dream life, and dictate what they want to do, when they want to do it, and how they're going to do it. But can you add to that?
Yes, absolutely. That's called freedom. That's called freedom. And so inside of the work ethic that it takes to be successful in this business, what does it mean? Like taking that call when you're on vacation, working on a Sunday. All our realtors know that we're up early. I guarantee you, when I wake up in the morning, I have at least one text message, and I wake up at 5 o'clock. There's already one text message from a realtor of mine who texted me at 11 o'clock last night when I was sleeping, right? But they know who we are. So if you've got that work ethic and you're willing to put in the time and you're willing to do and follow the guidance, what this career provides you, I don't know another career that provides you what was provided, because one, nobody tells you how much you make. If you're not earning what you don't want to earn, that's on you. Like, that's on you.
And Kim, how soon can somebody, like, if somebody fits the core values and they want to get into the mortgage industry, they want to be in your team, how long does it realistically take to get licensed, fully licensed, so that they could start from like just full fire?
So on our particular team, they would need a real estate license because we are a different type of NMLS team. So we have a real estate license that you can get in as short as 4 months, I believe, right?
You can get to the straight line in about a month.
In about a month. So really, if you took 1 quarter, let's say somebody DM'd us today and said, yeah, we're in, I want to leave my job someday in the future. How do we get started? You would probably we're almost at the end of January. I would say by May 1st, by the end of spring, you'd be ready to go.
And they get a DRE license and then an NMLS endorsement, which takes about 6. You would say 6 months max if they're fully committed.
Exactly. If you're fully committed. So here's the thing. Summer's always the busiest time of year in our industry. It always is. Why? Because school's over. People have to move. There's things they're going to do. There's vacations coming up. So if you wanted to start earning, have the opportunity to earn 6 figures, if you want the opportunity to leave the job you have right now, then you need to have the conversation today. Because by summer, when it gets super busy, and consider that everybody out there knows somebody who's going to transact in either real estate or a mortgage in the next 12 months. If you just knew that one person and you did a transaction with them, it would pay for all of your education that you needed to get here and a vacation.
Yeah. Well, Bobby told me this. Bobby Castro. Anybody that's licensed that fits your core values, you got to help him, Albert. It's your responsibility to help him because somebody that gets licensed, anybody, they have family, they have friends, and more than likely, at least 3 to 4 people they already know that need to refinance or buy a house.
That's how the Century 21 brand, that's how C21 brand, way back in the day, grew and expanded because they had more housewives get licensed who knew 4 or 5 friends, right? So the brand would hire a ton of rookies. The rookies are put on very, very low splits, and every one of those bodies would represent 4 to 5 transactions in a 12-month period. If you get 50 people who do that, that's a lot of business, right? So Bobby's absolutely right. Everybody knows. And inside of that, you have an opportunity. Hey, is this for me? Do I like this? If it is, awesome. We expand. If it's not, well, you made some great money. Maybe you funded half of a college fund in a year. You know what I mean? You made money you would have never made before. And it's a perfect opportunity to try it on, see if it fits, get mentored by people who really, really like, I'm going to give us a plug. We know what we're doing. People reach out to us for our expertise. And again, you've got to have the volume to get the expertise. It's hard to get the volume without the expertise. But if the stars align like they have for JR and I, and you get the volume and the expertise at this stage in the game, and somebody like us is willing to mentor you, you'd be crazy not to reach out to us.
Yeah. Well, thanks for all your wisdom, guys. And to close it out, I wanted to, just in case you guys missed the first podcast, it was more about having your biggest year, $1 million of earnings. You got your Ferrari. You guys just had a biggest year 2019. Now this one was more like, okay, well now 2020. What if you both can close it out with the biggest message you want to give everybody watching for 2020? What's the biggest thing that's on your mind for 2020?
I mean, what resonates with me is this: get out of your own way. You want to create, it's time to step up, okay? Get whatever is in your space. I can't do it. I don't know how to create wealth, or I don't know if I'm going to thrive in this business, or align yourself with those that have done it. You did it. You've done it with Grant, Patrick, Brad, Bobby, and then some, right? Yeah. So what do? You mimic. They've done it. They created it. They've done it. Align yourself with those individuals that have done it. Really look at who's in your circle and listen to them. They've done it. Replicate it because it works. There's no accident. This stuff works.
But really important, you got to execute. Most people, that's where they fail. They don't execute.
Your actions have to be aligned with your words, right? If you say you're going to do it, the only difference between having it and not having it is actually doing it. Take the action. Absolutely. Take the action. Take the leap. Stop wishing about it. Stop hoping about it. And you know what? Try it on. See if it fits. If it doesn't fit, you're no worse for the wear. But at least you tried it on. Living with regret, I think, would be the worst thing ever for anybody.
Stop having the it's for them conversation. It's for you. It's for every one of us, right?
There is no someday on the calendar. That's what I will leave you with. There is no someday on the calendar. It's today or it's not going to happen.
Awesome, guys. Well, it was a pleasure having you. You guys follow at the Kim and JR below. And if you guys have any more questions for them, send them a DM. They're here to help. They're growing their team, and possible, like, or not possible, but there's
No,
there's
expansion.
a
Yes.
new place, a new office location coming
Coming out
in
in the-
somewhere
yes.
in the
Yes.
LA outside area.
So we're
Yeah.
transitioning into that. The location hasn't been set yet. We already have things in place. It's just a matter of finding the right spot for us.
Yeah. So send them a DM, and if you're somebody that owns a house, needs to refi, lower your payment, or anything, contact them below.
Give us the call.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.